These are the top 3 best Sylveon cards in the competitive Pokemon TCG. Starting off with an honorable mention, we have Sylveon EX from Surging Sparks. Its first attack does 160 damage for 3 energy, and it takes 100 less damage during your opponent's next turn. But its far more powerful attack, Angelite, chose 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and you just shuffled them into your opponent's deck, and it couldn't be used twice in a row. This deck is commonly paired with Flareon EX from Prismatic Evolutions, and has gotten 4 regional top 8s. And another note is that with Lily's Clefairy EX in play, the first attack on Sylveon EX does one-hit KO Dragapult, which is, I think, second best deck in format. Right? At number 3, we have Sylveon VMAX from Evolving Skies. Its attack Max Harmony did 70 damage plus 30 more damage for each different type of Pokemon on your bench. So you use the Rapid Strike engine to search for a bunch of different Rapid Strike cards, and at the time it hit for weakness on Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, which was a very powerful deck at the time. The ability on Sylveon V, Dream Gift, could search for an item on your first turn, but then your turn ended, and a lot of different types were used in the deck to maximize the damage output of Max Harmony. At number 2, we have Sylveon GX. Sylveon GX had an attack called Magical Ribbon that searched your deck for up to 3 cards and put them into your hand, and then you shuffled your deck. This was used in a control style archetype to search for whatever you needed to control your opponent's board. And this was a time where hand disruption was not very common, and had rotated by the time this had become a popular deck, and Iono didn't come out until years later. So those 3 cards would most likely stay in your hand after you grab them with Magical Ribbon. And you can use this attack on your first turn going second if you opened the Energy Evolution Eevee and did Fiery Energy. You could attach that Fairy Energy and then search for a Sylveon GX and Magical Ribbon on your first turn, which was very powerful. And Plea GX put 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon and all attached cards into your opponent's hand, which was really powerful. This got 1 regional win and 3 regional top 8s. And at number 1, we have Gardevoir and Sylveon Tag Team GX from Unified Minds. Gardevoir and Sylveon GX had an attack called Kaleidostorm that did 150 damage, and you could move any number of energy from your Pokemon to your other Pokemon in any way you would like. It also had an attack called Magical Miracle GX that did 200 damage, and if you had at least 3 energy attached to it, in addition to the attack's cost, your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck. This was very commonly paired with Lugia GX, which GX attack put your opponent's active Pokemon and all cards attached to it into the Lost Zone. This is a very good control style archetype, as your opponent can't get anything back from the Lost Zone, so Lost Purge was very powerful. And Magical Miracle, you basically have to survive off top decks if you don't have any draw engine in play, which was incredibly powerful, and a lot of times you would only play 4 Gardevoir and Sylveon Tag Team GX and the Lugia GX, or just the 4 Gardevoir and Sylveon GX, because it was so powerful. Using the supporter card Green's Exploration, you could grab exactly what you needed to control the board state. Overall, Sylveon cards have seen a lot of success in control-style archetypes, such as Sylveon GX or Gardevoir Sylveon GX, the only exception being Sylveon VMAX. And generally, it involves shuffling bench Pokemon in the deck, putting bench Pokemon back into their hand, shuffling their entire hand into their deck, stuff like that. A lot of Sylveon cards have been very powerful, and then some have flopped completely, such as the regular rare from Prismatic, which has Safeguard, but it's just a worse Mimikyu, and a lot of just kind of bulk Sylveons that are there to take up space in sets. I'm glad there are a lot of playable Sylveons because I really like Sylveon, and Sylveon's my favorite Pokemon. And this video was a ton of fun to make, and thank you so much for watching. Regional info and deck lists came from limitlesstcg.com, and Sylveon sprites came from sprites.pmdcollab.org. And again, thank you so much for watching.